Well, Kim.com of Megaupload's infamy has been sprung. He is out on bail, and we have Jeff Fowler from San Francisco to tell us the story. Now, of course, he's not wandering around San Francisco, he's wandering around New Zealand, just to confuse matters. But you've been following the story from San Francisco, haven't you, Jeff?
That's right. Yeah, yesterday, Kim.com, the founder of Megaupload, the mega site that was convinced was charged with mega conspiracy by the feds last month, he was released on bail in New Zealand while he awaits his extradition hearing to go back to the U.S.
Was it a mega bail as well?
You know what? New Zealand law does not require you to post bail bonds. So he was released without any money, but there were some restrictions on him. Number one, he can't use his helicopter. Number two, he also can't use the internet in the house that he has to stay at, which is near the mega mansion, but not actually his old mega mansion.
So we won't be able to play, what's that game he was very, very good at? The
World
Call of Duty
3 or whatever.
It was. So they apparently, authorities are saying they know where all his dosh is and they have it, right?
Yeah, they said the reason why they felt he was safe to release was that they've seized all of his assets, tens of millions of dollars. And actually, his lawyers here in the U.S. claim that that's become a problem, that he needs some money to be able to pay his lawyers, of course. They also say he needs some money, and Megaupload needs some money to pay their service providers so that they can liberate the legitimate files that users were using or had stored on the Megaupload site. So there's a fight about the money. And meanwhile, Kim.com has to hang out in New Zealand. Now, you might think that a guy with a lifestyle like Kim.com had before might be a flight risk, and this was certainly the argument in this case. He's a German national, and so if he were able to flee to Germany, it could be very difficult to get him to the U.S. to face these charges.
And that's the helicopter thing, because New Zealand is in fact an island, and a helicopter could get him off the island.
Yeah,
I like this.
This guy is incredible. I mean, if he weren't
he's incredibly big.
But he'd also be a James Bond villain or something, I think, because you'd have to make him up if he didn't exist. So, but he's
more like an Austin Powers villain. I'm thinking. I'm thinking that way.
Right.
So what happens next? He's out on bail. He's without his millions. He can't be on the internet. I'm wondering whether he's allowed to play games, like video games. What's he going to be doing?
So, and we probably won't have any more serious action in this case until July, it looks like, when the New Zealand court will hear this extradition hearing and decide whether or not he will be sent to the U.S. Meanwhile, last Friday, though, the U.S. authorities filed some new charges against him and Megaupload, saying things like they found evidence when they went through all the servers and files that they had been going on to sites like YouTube, pulling content off and reposting it even though it was copyrighted. What the authorities in the U.S. are trying to do now, both for their own case here and possibly for what needs to happen in New Zealand, is very clearly lay out the case that this is a site that was not primarily used for legitimate file storage and sharing, but rather for pirating copyrighted material. As part of that, on these new charges they laid out on Friday, they said that previously Megaupload had said they had 180 million users, but in their own forensic analysis of the records, they say that Megaupload only had 60 million, and of those, less than 6 million ever actually uploaded a file to the site. So it was primarily a place you went to download pirated content, is what they claim.
Interesting.
Are there other people? There's more than one person aside from just Kim.com, whose real name, by the way, I think is Kim Schmitz. He also went by the name Kimball, if I recall.
He did actually change his name, though, legally to Kim.com.
Legally changed his name. What an odd thing. But there are other people who are facing charges in relation to this, correct?
That's right. There's 4 in total that they've captured, but they're all now released on bail in New Zealand.
I see. So he's the last one.
What chances do they get? Does the U.S. get the extradition that it wants?
When we first heard about this case, it seemed like an easy case, but now it's looking more and more complicated. One of the things that complicates this is that these are criminal charges. And most of the experience that we have with copyright law has been over civil charges. Someone stole my file and then I'm going to sue them. But this could mean he could go to jail, and it's a higher burden. So it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Well, it is good. It's a fascinating story to watch. I'm loving every blow by blow of this. So come back soon, Jeff Fowler of the Wall Street Journal.